Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. We've got the latest news lined up for you from here at home and across the globe. Let's start off with a look at your top stories this evening. Efforts to renounce US citizenship successful. Statement by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Namal Karunaratne's opinion on the government. Belyatta railway track sinks 4 days after being declared open. Temperature in Sri Lanka reaches highest in 140 years. Over 500,000 affected. Bentota police constable assaulted. Starting off with a look at those stories in detail now. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa arrived in the island this morning.
The former Defence Secretary was warmly welcomed at the airport by a large group including several MPs from the Podu Jana Peramuna. The main reason I left to the United States is to discuss matters with lawyers and take the necessary steps to renounce my US citizenship. My efforts were successful. However, the next step is to clear all allegations that have been leveled against me in Sri Lanka. I will submit the necessary documents when requested for. It was during this period, while I served as the Defence Secretary nearly 10 to 12 years ago, that a civil case was filed against me regarding the death of a journalist and another individual. According to US laws, they must issue summons to me. However, I have not received any summons. My lawyers in the US are working to get the case dismissed in courts. Several sectors have affected this matter. An NGO that belongs to the LTTE diaspora, and I am disappointed to say a Consular General Office in California were involved in this regard. I think it's unfair to engage in politics in such a low and cheap manner.
Consul General කාර්යාලයනොත් මේක මෙහෙවුවා මේක මං හිතන්නේ ඒ වගේ පහත් තත්වයකට දේශපාලනය ගෙන යාම ඉතාමත් අසාධාරණයි.
Moving on in more local news, issuing a press release today, the Ministry of Finance stated that the International Development Association of the World Bank has provided financial assistance of $125 million to implement climate-resilient agriculture projects in the country.
The loan agreement was signed during the spring meetings of the World Bank and IMF, which are currently taking place in Washington, D.C. until the 14th of April this year. The agreement was signed by Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance on behalf of the Government of Sri Lanka, and Mr. Hartwig Skaffer, Vice President for the South Asia region on behalf of the World Bank. Minister of Finance Mangala Samaravira left to Washington today and is expected to remain in the US until the 18th of April. In addition, the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development of the World Bank issued a grant of $1.8 million for projects on minimizing the impact caused by climate change.
Sri Lanka is experiencing the warmest weather in the island in 140 years, according to Professor Chandana Jayaratne of the Physical Science Division of the Colombo University. The number of people affected by the arid weather has risen to over 572,000.
තියෙන පෑවිල්ලත් එක්ක මේ සත්තු ටික හරි අමාරුවෙන් තමයි තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ.
මේ වාගේ තත්ත්වයකට නම් මගේ ජීවිතේ කිසිම දවසක මම පත් වෙලා නැහැ. ඉදිරි දවස්වල මොනවා වෙනවද දන්නේ.
මුසල අවුරුදු කාලේ මෙහෙම මුකුත් කරගන්න බෑනේ.
මුළු කැක්කු මනම් ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩයි මේ දවස්වල මේසොට.
ඇතුළකට රින්ගලා AC එකේ හිටියත් රස්නයක් නෑ අපිට දැනෙන්නේ. ඉතාමත් මාසිකදායක තත්ත්වයක්.
අද උපරිම රැක්ස් නෑ. ඉතින් දීවරයන් වෙන අපි අද මුදුර යන්න බැරුව
The Met Department stated the North Central and Wayamba provinces, the Hambantota, Munoragala, Gampaha, Trincomalee, Mana, Babunia and Muneetivu districts were hit by extreme arid weather conditions. Professor Chandana Jayaratne of the Physical Sciences Division of the Colombo University said an analysis on the data gathered had confirmed this.
There are very few reasons for the increase in the global temperature. Every year in the month of April, temperatures rise. At this time, when the sun is at its peak, the land in Sri Lanka heats up. Then the upper atmosphere of the earth heats up. The heated air particles travel upwards as their density is less, because there is an El Niño effect. Also, during the past 4 years, global temperatures are gradually increasing. There is extreme warm weather from 10 AM to 3 PM, so you must shield yourself from the heat of the sun during this period. It is important to consume liquids, especially water, to prevent dehydration. It is important to consume a lot of water. We can prevent people from suffering heat strokes and dehydration by this.
The Department of Irrigation says due to the prevailing weather conditions, water levels of major reservoirs have decreased. The water level of the Abaya River is at 55%. The Hurulu River is at 75%. Mahakanadarawa River at 71%. The Mahavilaksha Reservoir is at 91% of its capacity. The Nachadua Reservoir is at 75% capacity and the Rajangania Reservoir is at 81% capacity. The Tisa River is at 47% of its total capacity. According to the Irrigation Department, the water levels at all 6 reservoirs in the Badulla district are above 75%. All 4 reservoirs in the Batticaloa district are at 60%. The Department of Irrigation further added the water levels of the 11 reservoirs in the Hambantota district are above 80% and the reservoirs in the Monoragala district are at less than 50%.
Although the central are receiving rain, the water capacity at the main reservoirs in the central hills and the other reservoirs in the northeastern, Kurunagala, Monoragala and the north central provinces are low. The rainfall in these areas are very low. Because of evaporation, the water levels of these reservoirs are reducing fast. However, we expect that we will be able to cultivate about 60% of farmable land this season. The season meetings are being conducted accordingly.
The power added to the national grid through hydro power plants have decreased considerably.
About 1,350 megawatts, a large amount of power, is supplied from the hydropower plant. There are also small-scale hydropower plants that supply about 390 megawatts of power. The arid weather conditions have severely affected the supply of this capacity of power. There has been a reduction of over 300 megawatts of electricity produced from hydropower plants. The
Met Department forecasts showers or thunder showers in the central, Sabaragamuwa, eastern, Uva, Wayamba, western and north central provinces. The department added temperatures may reduce with a slight rainfall.
The entire country is preparing for the dawn of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. News First, John Fernando filed this report.
You're joining me now from one of the busiest streets in Colombo, the first cross street here in Colombo Fort, and this is how Colombo is preparing for the upcoming Sinhala Tamil New Year. So we are here to question the people if the upcoming Sinhala Tamil New Year is actually a happy, prosperous one. Most of them are here just for shopping and most of them are here to leave to their villages in order to spend the Sinhala Tamil New Year with their families. So we will question them and see how this New Year, upcoming New Year, will affect them.
විශේෂයක් නැහැ ඉතින් හොඳයි අනිත් සරවල් වලට බඩු නම් ගන්න අවුරුදු හොඳයි ඉතින් ජයයි ඉතින් අවුරුදු සමරට තමයි ඇවිල්ලා බඩු ගන්න තමයි ඇවිල්ලා ඉතින් පඩියත් මදි ඉතින් බෝනස් එකත් මදි ඉතින් කොමාරි ඉතින් ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑනේ ඉතින් කොමාරි කරගෙන යනවා
මිනිස්සු නම් ඉතින් හැමදාම යනවා වෙලඳාම තමයි නැත්තේ ඊ අවුරුද්දේ 10 වෙනිදා ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ අන්තිම දවස් 3ට මොනවත් ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ නැහැ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය hina වෙලා එනවා සල්ලි තමයි නැත්තේ මිනිස්සුන්ට වේදන් කරන්න එනවා මේ රටේ දේශපාලඥ
Politicians of this country, both in the government and in the opposition, have ruined this country. Innocent people who earn with their sweat and blood buy something cheap and go home. I see that a lot of people are shopping at markets on the pavements. A very few are going to big shops. They don't have enough money to go there. The sale of firecrackers are good, but the goods are expensive. But we are doing this the way we can. Not like buying firecrackers. The parents and children who use them must be very careful. Parents must be mindful about this because they are very powerful. This is how the people in Jaffna are preparing to welcome the new year. This is some business from the people who came from Colombo. We have good business from the Sinhala and Tamil people who come here. I wish everyone a happy new year.
The fate of farmers this New Year's season was the topic of discussion at a media briefing held in Dambulla today. The media briefing was convened by the All Ceylon Peasants Federation.
The harvest cannot be sold because there is no proper price on offer. The government is not paying the compensation that is due. The government has failed to make their payments. They're cutting off 100 rupees from the public welfare out of the 2,000 rupees.
පිම්පඩියේ රුපියල් 2000ක් හම්බෙන්නේ ඒකනොත් රුපියල් 100ක් කපනවා ඊනකට ගොවි විශ්‍රාම වැටුපට දායක වුණා.
Next, the farmer's pension. They're cutting off 50 rupees from the farmer's pension. They couldn't even pay the money they owe the farmers. They have now started to take money from the tills of the poor farmers. The people who robbed the central bank, the people who wasted public funds, the people who lied about setting up car factories in Kuliapitia, the people who deceived the people. Close to 30 of the MPs and ministers of this government are travelling overseas to enjoy the new season with the use of public funds. Against such a backdrop, they are presenting supplementary estimates to purchase luxury vehicles, vehicles that are valued at millions and billions of rupees.
There is always a question surrounding the quality of projects that are launched for the benefit of the public at large. The current state of the Beliatta railway track is a good example for the appalling standards of these projects.
The Matara Beliatta railway station that was vested with the public on the 8th of this month was constructed at a cost of $278.2 million. Evidence of a proper lack of standards at the station surfaced during a downpour of heavy rain at Beliatta in the evening. A section of the turnaround road at the Beliatta railway station had sunk during the heavy rains yesterday. The roof at the train station was also damaged, and according to our correspondent, water was leaking through it. The signalling system at the train station was damaged after being hit by a bolt of lightning. According to our correspondent, the train bound to Beliatta from Maradana was stopped at Matara and the passengers were moved to a smaller train for the rest of the journey due to the malfunctioning in the signalling system at the Beliatta train station. These issues at the Beliatta railway station surfaced only 5 days after the project was declared open. However, a cleanup operation at the railway station was launched this morning. When inquired onto the matter, the general manager of the railway, Dilantha Fernando, said that the company that carried out the construction had given a guarantee for 2 years. He added that the quality of the lightning rod at the railway station is also questionable. He further said that the railway department is looking into the matter broadly. Our attempts to contact a representative of the company that handled the construction contract were futile. It must be stressed that it has only been 5 days since the railway track was vested with the public. For your attention.
The closing ceremony of the National Development Programme Ratavenuwen Ekata Sitimu was held at the Weber Stadium in Batticaloa today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena.
This program aims to benefit the public from village to district level by increasing the efficiency of national development and community upliftment programs. The program is organized by the Presidential Secretariat upon the guidance and instructions of the President.
Why was Puttalam and Batticaloa given priority in this program? At present, a special program is being conducted in Trincomalee. These districts face an issue in development. The issue is there are no cabinet ministers to overlook development in these districts, and therefore there is a delay in work. The money allocated are sent back. With regard to the prevailing drug menace in the country, I must state that smuggling of narcotic substances in Sri Lanka mostly take place through the eastern province. We need public support to prevent drug smuggling into the country. We obtained the largest paddy harvest in the history of Sri Lanka during the 2018-2019 Kanna season. The increase in the harvest was due to heavy rainfall and not the government's support. However, some individuals claim that the increased harvest was due to the government's effort. Can the government increase rainfall? It was the farmers who gave us this harvest, so we must all work together.
ගොවි ජනතාවගේ කඳුලින් සුසුමෙන් මහන්සියලා තමයි ඒ අස්වැන්න ගත්තේ රටට දුන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අපි සියලු දෙනා මේ රට ගොඩනගන්න එකට එකතු වෙන්න ඕන.
Meanwhile, the district office of the career guidance network Smart Sri Lanka was opened today and the facility was inspected by President Maithripala Sirisena.
Following an event held in Maharakalaniya, Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation Arjuna Ranatunga responded to several questions raised by journalists.
ප්‍රතිසාකච්ඡාවක් කරනමින් CPC එකේ සිදුණු සිදුවීම ගැන විවේචනයක් කරා. එතුමා හිතනවා කියලා කිව්ව ඔබතුමා එහාට මෙහාට කතා කරලා නඩු තීන්දුවකට බලපෑම් කරා කියලා.
මම එක දෙයක් එතන තේරුණා. One thing I understood from that press briefing is that those who tried to murder me are from the Flower Bud party. I remember when this incident took place, Gamini Lokuge arrived near the CPC, which means that an MP from the Flower Bud party was involved in the incident, and the Flower Bud party was also aware of an attempt to murder me. If such a thing can be done without power, I wonder what they will do with power. I hope to conduct an in-depth investigation into the matter in the future.
The 186th model village constructed in Jewel Parlamatesa Maharamer under the Samata 7 housing program was vested with the public today under the auspices of Minister of Housing, Construction and Cultural Affairs and the Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajid Premadasa.
This model village has been named Senpati Gotaimbara and consists of 20 housing units. Land deeds and Visira housing loans were provided to the public, while spectacles and equipment for community unions were also distributed in line with today's event.
Our political opponents say that this is a critical year. As the presidential election are due to be held, who will take over the throne? Will it be the father? Or if it's not the father, will it be the mother or the uncles? If not, will it be the sons? Whose appointment as the president will protect the future of the prince? How can entrance be gained to the president's house or temple trees by any means? These are the facts that make this year a critical one for those in the opposition. Why do I see this year as a crucial year? There are 2.5 million families in the country who do not have solutions to their own housing problem. We have been able to provide solutions to about 350,000 people. There are 2.2 million that remains. This is a crucial year because we have to launch phase 2 of the 5,000 villages program.
The following news item is about a fish market that has been inconveniencing the general public.
Even though this looks like a fish market, this is the Ambilipitiya-Ratnapura main road. The vehicular movement is hampered as a result of the fish market being carried out in the Kahavatta Mahadampe junction. However, a building has been constructed nearby for the fish market to be carried out there. The villagers stated that the building has not been vested with the public as of yet. It has been a long time since this has been constructed. There is a problem with the water. The water must be supplied and this should be declared open. As a result of this building not being utilized, it's currently being used for various illegal activities by drug addicts. There is a fish market and none of the officials are looking into this. The people cannot walk on the road. The school children cannot walk there. The new year is here and the people are unable to walk here. They have constructed a building for the market and that is being used to consume narcotics. There are several indecent things happening here. There's a divisional secretariat, even she is not looking into this. Look at the market. Millions have been spent. This could have been done this year. No one is doing anything. There is no proper mechanism to dispose garbage and waste material collected at the fish market. This is how the waste is being disposed at present. The waste materials are also dumped into the Madampe canal and the water has been polluted as a result. This is the only location that the residents of the area have to purchase fish. The residents request that the building that has been constructed using taxpayers' money be declared open soon.
In one of your headline-making stories, now a police constable attached to the Beliatta police has lodged a complaint at the Akmimana police station stating that he and his wife were assaulted yesterday. He accuses two men, Anuradha Hanayaka alias Passanura and Asanka alias Bole, to have carried out the assault.
Pas Anura is suspected to be the owner of the van that was used for abduction of two businessmen in Rathgama recently, according to an anonymous letter that was sent to the house of the victims. The police constable said that he and his wife were attacked on their way back from the Akmimana police station along with their 2.5-year-old child after they lodged a complaint against an accomplice of Pas Anura. On my way back, after lodging the complaint, the two people, Pas Anura and Bole, followed me and stopped my motorbike, pulled me aside and assaulted me. They assaulted my wife as well. I backed up and went into a shop. They broke a glass bottle in the shop and tried to assault me with that. They hit me on my head and my neck. I was carrying my child at that time. The main reason for the assault is because I tipped off the STF to raid one of their sand mining operations about 7 to 8 months ago. I was attached to the Galle Fort Police at the time. I think our Deputy Inspector General of Police might have a closer relationship with Pas Anura. He immediately called me and recorded a statement. After obtaining my statement, he punished me. Then I complained about this matter to the Inspector General of Police. After he found out that I filed a complaint against him, he transferred me to the Ambilipitia Police Headquarters as revenge. Previously, they took down fake complaints filed by Pas Anura and tried to arrest me. The injured police constable and his wife are currently being treated at the Karapitia Teaching Hospital. The Akmimana police stated that no suspects have been arrested in connection to the incident.
Our attempts to contact the police media spokesperson SP Ruwan Gunasekara for a comment on the incident were futile. Moving on in more local news, the United Nations Subcommittee on the Prevention of Torture completed its first visit to Sri Lanka.
Victor Zaria, who led the 4-member delegation, which began its visit on the 2nd of April, said they received good cooperation during the visit, having access to all places of detention, getting all relevant information, and performing confidential interviews. She was quoted as saying, quote, "We look positively on Sri Lanka's prospective development of a national preventive mechanism as required under optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture," unquote. The subcommittee's next step will be to submit its confidential report to the government of Sri Lanka containing its observations and recommendations arising from the visit. The subcommittee on the prevention of torture encourages the state parties to make its report public.
In some sports news now, St. Joseph's College, Colombo 10 won the Under-19 Inter-School Division 1 two-day cricket tournament today.
St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, batting first in the finals at the Royal College grounds, were bowled out for 216 runs. Sitara Hapuhinna scored 117 runs. Dunit Bellalage bagged 4 wickets for 45 runs. St. Joseph's College, batting in their first innings, scored 269 runs all out. Dunit Bellalage top scored for the side with 88 runs, while Dinesh Jayakudi scored 44. Tevin Iriagama, Shannon Fernando and Kalana Pereira bagged 2 wickets each. At the close of play today, St. Thomas's College was 67 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. Thereby the match ended in a draw, and St. Joseph's College, who came on top in the first innings of the match, won the championship of the Under-19 Inter-School Division 1 two-day cricket tournament.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for today. To follow details of these stories and more, you can log on to our award-winning website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlene Benedict for the News First team. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and God bless.